This is Rating Descending.
where we watch IMDb's Worst 250 so you don't have to.
My name is Abigail Ward.
And mine's Michelle St. Clair.
And tonight we are watching The Darkness. A family unknowingly awakens an ancient supernatural entity on a Grand Canyon vacation and must fight for survival when it follows them home. Let's watch. Nothing better than a peppy tea. Peppy tea keeps the doctor
At B.
at B.
At keeps the doctor.
We got this. Come on. One joke. Let's do it.
Keeps the doctor.
I'll just start again. I'll just start again.
No, I got it. Keeps the doctor
no.
a bee. It keeps him a bee. The doctor is a bee. Bzz. Hi, I'm Dr. B. And nice to beat you. Bzz.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, it's okay. It's okay.
You don't think that was a good?
Hold my hand.
You don't think that was a good comedic
That's not
bid
what I'm saying. Just hold
for
my
our
hand.
podcast?
Hold my hand. Hey.
Does this count as yes and or
Hey.
is it? Yeah.
What the fuck?
Just.
What the fuck was that?
I can change it if
I'm
you
really
prefer.
angry.
Oh my god, you're so legitimately angry.
Nothing quite like a peppermint tea. A peppermint tea keeps the doctor at ease.
That's pretty good.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
On the hierarchy of teas, peppermint for me reigns pretty supreme.
For me, peppermint is number one, and as much as I used to be a big tea person, but these days it's not even close. It's just peppermint.
Yeah.
And sometimes like a jasmine tea.
Look, I'll dabble in an Ingy Breck. Sometimes I will meander over to a French Earl Grey, but really, when it comes to teas, I will always opt for peppermint first. It's good for the tummy. It's still comforting. You don't need milk.
Yeah.
Because what if you don't got milk? As the saying goes.
You know what they say? I got a business for you.
Titty milk. This is our annual titty milk. Oh, fuck. Sorry, this is our bi-monthly
Jesus
titty milk.
Christ.
Leave me alone. This is our bi-monthly titty milk ad. My tits are so swollen and I gotta juice them, but I don't have a baby yet. So what am I gonna do with all this milk?
Functions.
I wish that somewhere I could sell this
one
milk.
day of my life
I wish that some
without
brown-haired,
just fucking-
tall woman would jump out at me from
that's
my
me.
TV.
Whoa! Hey!
Whoa!
It's time for tea milk? Yeah, that's right.
Whoa!
Are you missing milk? And
What? No,
or
I've got milk.
Oh, you've got,
I've
yeah.
got too much. I
Hang
need to
on.
give it away. What's happening?
Have you got too much milk?
Yeah, I've got too much milk. I'm lactating like crazy.
Well, that's great, because I've got a pump and a jug.
Whoa, I'm gonna jump for that pump.
Let me help you jump on this pump so that I can get that milk,
Whoa,
baby.
I could never trump this pump, to which I have jumped.
It's too soon. It's too
Sorry,
soon.
yeah, you're
Don't-
right.
Just
Yeah, I get that. I've just been biding time till this ad came on. Whoa!
totally nailed it.
Obama!
Whoa.
Too soon.
He's making a comeback.
Whoa, oh, God. I'm so glad I can sell my titty milk.
Yeah. Well, this time it's for tea. Hey, you got tea?
Yeah.
Before, we would store the milk and ship it straight to your door.
Whoa.
Now, we bring the tit with us.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you've got some tea?
Yeah. Oh! Bazoinga!
Yeah, that's right.
That's radical.
And we force all the women
What?
to drink the tea in question
What?
before.
Hang
so
on.
that the milk
That sounds unethical.
so that the milk is
Why are you
perfectly
yelling?
flavored for the tea.
I feel uncomfortable.
It's about flavor integrity, Abigail.
Can I leave this ad?
It's about the integrity of the flavor.
Whoa,
You
this was
can't
not in the job description.
Shut up.
Whoa.
It's about you don't want to compromise how the tea tastes.
Why are you holding my hand like this? God, you're just squeezing me so hard.
you just don't want the tea
Just
to
still
taste
recording.
bad.
Is it
with the
still an ad?
milk.
I'm only.
This is live, Abigail.
I'm not meant to stay past 3. This
We're
is.
live at the Super Bowl.
Oh my god.
That's an American thing, right?
But you know what the Super Bowl needs? Milk! Wow! You get milk. You get milk. It's me spraying my lactating titties into
It's
the
so
crowd.
thick and ropey.
Tastes sour
Oh,
too.
yeah. Oh, that's a good one.
Titty milk. This ad was not sponsored by the government of Canberra. But yeah, peppermint tea's pretty good.
Yeah.
But now I know if I want a milky tea, I know just where to get it.
Just roll straight into the movie.
Speaking.
You got this. You can do it. I believe in you. I believe in you so hard. I don't know if I've ever believed in you more than this moment. It's all come down to this. You can do it.
Speaking of the Super Bowl, I was super bowled over by how bad this film was.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yo! She did what?
I just
Baby, that's called a segue. Have you look it up? I don't know what it
totally
means.
just came, did you?
Me? Oh, yeah, babe, I came. It was so good. I had such a good time.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, I had an excellent. It was.
Yeah.
I love the way that you just pumped and jumped me for like a good 2 minutes.
No, yeah, I hear that a lot.
Yeah. Have you heard of a clit?
I'm actually kind of tired, babe.
God damn it!
Gonna go to sleep.
Oh my god!
But you can, keep going, finish yourself off if you want.
With what?
Because I'm a feminist.
Your limp dick? Oh god! I'm just gonna. This is our 10th date. I don't know why I keep coming back. Oh my god! This week we watched The Darkness.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
We certainly did. I definitely saw it with my own eyes for an hour and a half.
My number one takeaway, Blumhouse really has a formula, don't they?
They really do. My number one takeaway, Indian, probably. Or like maybe Mexican if I'm feeling a bit feisty. I don't know.
Yeah?
If I've got the money.
I mean, you know me, I'm a big fan of just burgers and chips because I love the comfort of chips.
You really do.
If Indian or Chinese came with potato chips, I would probably order them more. Like, honestly, sometimes I order a burger because what I really want is the chips.
Chinese food doesn't include a lot of potato, does it? Potato isn't a common ingredient in a lot of traditional Chinese cuisine. However, Indian, they use it a lot.
I mean, wasn't the potato from the New World, from the Americas?
Yeah.
So it makes sense that I mean, like their
So I get why
culture
like,
is
the
like
absence of
fucking
potato.
8,000 years old or whatever.
I reckon there must be some deep fried potato dish from India that could really satiate your need for
Well, they have
chip.
like Bombay potatoes, which I guess is a name that should probably be updated.
Are they roasted or fried, like deep fried?
But they do a lot of like potato-based curries, but that's also because of, there's a lot of potato
But a
influence.
curry doth not a chip make.
Forcefully. No, exactly. Like, but I'm not seeking potato. I'm seeking chip.
I love that we got a good 2 minutes into this and we're already completely sideways.
Why not?
This week we watched The Darkness.
Yeah.
And boy, did we just. It had Kevin Bacon. It was a horror film.
Who I said to you, man, we have 2 Ethan Hawke movies in a row. Having seen the posters for both movies, and then texted you.
I get why you got confused. They look so similar in these 2 roles.
I never, if you asked me 6 months ago, do you think Ethan Hawke and Kevin Bacon look similar? I would have said, I guess they're both white men, but not really. But having seen this, I'm like, no, they do. They have the same angular face.
Yep. And they also have the same haircut as well.
Yep. Kevin Bacon, all he needs is the mustache and goatee that Ethan Hawke always carries.
Yeah.
Like, if he we are in his purse. Kevin Bacon is
busted out for a quick escape.
Kevin Bacon is just Ethan Hawke in 7 years.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know
it's
what I
true.
mean?
I think that you should put together a good graphic for our viewers, for our listeners, next week. So you can just compare these 2 posters.
What I'll actually do though is I'll like Photoshop their faces on each other and be like, they look similar, am I right? And like not tell people that I've done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Be
like
like,
that.
I'm validated, right? Right?
I'm the validate my parking. But yeah, then I texted you like 5 minutes in and I was like, that's not Ethan Hawke.
It's Kevin Bacon.
I didn't say that on the text though.
No, you didn't. You left it to me to find that out. And I was delighted.
You'd already seen it. You knew.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I thought this film was very silly, difficult to watch.
Yeah.
In comparison to last week's film, Getaway, this was harder to watch.
Yes.
It was another painful American horror film made in the last 10 years about a white suburban family getting haunted by something that's possessing one of their children in the house. And that is my least favorite genre of film ever. Ever. I'm now saying I would watch any other genre than this genre. I
noted while watching it, this is the exact same structure as The Ghost Dimension. Because, in particular, because it is, the movie begins, there is something introduced that the audience understands begins a possession because they move into a new place. Then they don't really acknowledge that there's a possession until about 60 minutes in. Then you think that things are about to start going, but they don't really. And then with 10 minutes left, they introduce spiritual advisors before the climax just happens and the movie then ends. It's the exact same structure. And it's boring.
Yeah.
Boring to watch.
Terrible, terrible, terrible to watch.
Yeah.
I found it really hard to just pay attention, to follow these characters. The only things that kept this enjoyable to me were the bad performances, especially of their daughter.
Oh my God.
Yeah, which is a whole thing.
Maybe the worst actress on this list so far. Shockingly bad.
Shockingly bad. And I was like, oh, she's getting possessed, but she wasn't. She was just being a hormonal teenager.
Yeah.
Also, there was a surprise in this film that I liked.
Okay.
We can get to it later, but it's more of a beef thread that I don't actually mention in the overview. But wait, I'll do the overview first and then I'll get into that. Because it'll be good to just get this out of the way.
Yeah.
Peter and Bronnie Taylor. By the way, Bronnie is an odd name for a female protagonist. I've just never encountered it before. Bronnie.
My aunt's name is Bronwyn, which we call her
loser.
Bronnie.
Oh, what a dick. Your aunt? She's a fucking nerd. All right? Look at me. Fucking nerd. Niece of a fucking nerd.
Oh.
Michelle. Michelle. No, Michelle. 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 Look at me. Look at me. Look. Fucking nerd. Oh. Michelle. 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 Oh, come here. Come here, girl. Come here. Come here. You like a little scratch on the head, huh? Oh, there we go. Didn't know you were a cat, but I'll run with it. Oh.
I'm cat dog.
Strange cat
this
dog
is my
hybrid.
ass.
Oh, that explains so much. Hey, whoa, hey, easy go, easy. Michelle. Hey, Michelle. Fucking nerd. Yeah, you better run.
I'm the new Frank Welker. All I do is I'm every animal in every movie.
I got 4 words into my overview.
Guys, this movie was nothing.
Peter and Bronnie Taylor go on a vacation to the Grand Canyon with their kids, Stephanie and Mikey. Mikey has autism. Mikey discovers strange black rocks with symbols on them. When the Taylors return home, strange things begin to happen. Taps turn on and handprints appear in mirrors. Mikey claims his new friend Jenny is doing this. Mikey's behavior escalates and he attempts to kill his grandmother's cat. Mikey starts a fire in his room, which becomes a portal. Don't ask. And Stephanie gets attacked by forces. I couldn't express that better.
Love this movie.
Bronnie learns of the Anasazi Native Americans, who have believed that demons were bound to the rocks hidden in caves. The demons connect to young children who are then dragged into their world, and it triggers an event known as the darkness. They hire a spiritual healer named Teresa. She finds that Mikey's room is now a portal, where a lot of the evil currently resides. They recite a chant as Mikey tries to enter the portal. Peter follows him in, but Mikey ends the event of the darkness by picking the stones up and putting them back down, saying he is no longer afraid. The demons are banished, and Peter and his family reunite. That's it.
Yeah.
And it was fucking difficult.
Yeah.
That film had a lot of useless nonsense.
It did.
A B plot that I didn't mention here is that, and it did actually surprise me because that A plot sucked. There's this weird little B plot around Peter and like this like young secretary at work and how like him and his wife Bronnie aren't having sex in the morning and he seems a bit frustrated by it. And then he's at work and there's this young new woman being like, oh my God, I'm obsessed with your work. I really, really like you. And you're like, fuck, there's going to be a B plot about him having an affair. But then around the middle of the film, she's just like, hey, like, do you want to get dinner sometime? And he's just like, I think we should keep this professional. And she leaves and he looks at the photo of his family and you're like, okay. And then the film is him like being there for Mikey and trying to help them. And you find out that he had an affair a long time ago and that he's still sorry for it. And him and Bronny like reconcile, which is dumb because she's like, it's up to Bronny to forgive him and it doesn't seem like it's very healthy. But I was pleasantly surprised it didn't turn into a plot about him cheating on his family. It was about him trying to be a better dad and a better husband. I liked that.
That fits with some of my thoughts about the movie, which is also that like the first 10 minutes actually introduces some interesting mythology concepts. Like out of all of these stupid bad horror movies, like the first 10 minutes of this had more promise than Ouija and Rings, right? Like it had more that I thought like made me go, oh, the director's paying attention. There was a lot in the direction in the opening of like being solid and close on the mother, but always like facing away. Kevin Bacon's always like facing away from the camera and it's very shaky and stuff. I'm like, there's kind of care put into the direction and interesting concepts. But then when they start to explain every idea, they have the worst choice every time. And like I was gonna bring it up later, but you already mentioned it in the overview. This movie has twin problems of strange autism as possession allegory, and then also like total weird mistreatment of First Nation Americans. Like, the fuck?
Then also there's an eating disorder about like in the daughter storyline that's thrown in on top of that. And actually, sorry, just
doesn't
before
go
we
anywhere.
Move on. It doesn't. It's nothing. There's also actually a bit. I was just saying that it was about how Kevin Bacon like didn't have an affair, but there's that bit at the beginning of the movie where they're with that family. Where fucking
Matt Walsh is there. So weird.
And Jennifer Morrison, who was in fucking House and Once Upon a Time.
Oh, yes, that's why I recognize
they play this other couple that they're vacationing with. And there's a bit where the main character, Bronny, is up in the canyon taking pictures. And then she looks down and she sees her husband and the wife walking out from somewhere. And they're like, oh my God, he got lost. I was just finding him. And it sounds sus. And she looks worried. And it seems like he's having an affair with that woman.
Maybe the implication is that he's a serial cheater.
Yeah.
And when he doesn't sleep with the secretary, this is him deciding to stop.
I guess so. But when she sees that, it's almost like we, the viewer, know that something's sus. And I feel like they're saying that she knows something is sus. But it's never brought up or addressed. And we never know if she's referring to them cheating or him cheating with a different woman.
I feel like one writer wrote the first half of this movie and then someone else came and like, I've got all the answers. And they wrote like the worst ending to every
100%. 100%. So actually, that's an unanswered part of this weird plot. But I hated this film. And as you say, there's a weird, like, there's always an autistic allegory of like, there's a young, strange, special child and they get possessed because autism is you being possessed by a demon.
Yeah.
Or it's similar to. They are weak and vulnerable to possession.
This movie, like, it so desperately feeds into, like, Autism Speaks mum groups who think they're being supportive of autism, but actually what they're doing is trying to find a cure and being totally fucking awful and offensive.
Yeah.
And like he literally at one point is Googling like, are autistic kids more susceptible to possession? Then it was like, yes, autistic kids are known to be a vehicle for the supernatural. And we just see these like flashes of all these articles. And I'm like, is he fucking becoming an alt-right mum blogger? What the fuck is going on?
Here's a trope that I love in these horror films set in the last 10 years. It's the bit where the parents have noticed that their special or strange child is acting as particularly special or strange. So they take to the internet and they just look shit up. They look up handprints, faded mirrors, smoky eyes, and then
they're
they
all
find
bad
all these,
at Googling.
They're really bad at Googling. And then it's this montage sequence of them seeing this shit on the internet and then becoming more and more worried and concerned. And that's how they find their answers. And it's the most boring fact-finding mission ever.
It convinces me
it's not fun to watch.
That the first time the screenwriter used Google was in research for this movie.
Yeah.
It's because they're like, oh, you know when you use Google and you go down that hole? I'm like, yeah, every day.
If my kids started setting fires in my bedroom, and mysterious things were happening around the house, I still wouldn't Google these things. I would go to a doctor.
But it's also, that's what I mean in terms of the awful autism allegory. Like, this is how movies like this function, where, like, we know he's possessed, but the argument that the characters are having is, you know, the mum's trying to be like, no, we should understand him. And then the dad's like being like, no, he's dangerous. We have to get help. And it's like, you're clearly drawing a parallel between that and not demonically possessed autistic children.
Yeah.
And that's a fucked up thing to do.
Yeah, I agree.
I broke our rule of who looks up what because I wanted to look up one thing. I just wanted to know,
you bitch.
Does that actor have autism?
And probably not. No.
But it's also not the first time he's played an autistic character. And
does that mean there's like...
That really fucking bothers me.
Yeah. Does that mean there's like features that people link with autism, like characteristics, physical characteristics that people think
I'm also
like
pretty
autism?
Convinced that the writer, director, and actor haven't really met that many people with autism. It's very much a caricature of an autistic person.
It really is.
Maybe not quite Music by Sia, but you know.
Just some basic facts about this film as well, which I just want to touch on. It was made in 2016. It has 4.5 stars on IMDb, but it was directed by Greg McLean. Greg McLean directed the original Wolf Creek.
Oh, that's why his name is familiar.
Yeah, and he did a couple of other things, but they all sucked. He
fuck
did the original.
that guy.
Why fuck that guy?
Because he directed this movie with horrible ableism and also weird offensiveness towards Native Americans. Like,
right.
Fuck that.
Right. I thought you were saying fuck him for Wolf Creek.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was a whole suit of like sexual assault allegations as well. Oh no, they were against the actor in it, wasn't it? Yeah.
John Jarrett. Yeah. It wasn't the director. But I mean, if you're the director, some people are like, is he culpable and stuff?
Yeah. But then people were like, no, he's a good guy, and that means he could never do anything bad.
Yeah, he was really nice to me, so he definitely didn't sexually assault someone
That's how we treat morality. They're a good person or a bad person. Oh, they're attractive, so they're a good person. They're ugly, so they're a bad person. I'm really sick of seeing memes, you know, where it'll be like, oh, Paul Rudd hot at 50, this person ugly at 50. That's why we know Paul Rudd's a good person. And I'm like, I don't know if you're consciously aware that you're saying he's hot because he's a good person and this person is ugly because they're a bad person. But that's a fucked up thing to say.
I think what they're saying is that he's a good person because he's hot, not he's hot because he's a good person.
Both of them are fucked up things to say.
Yeah, they are. Because I was actually thinking about this today and talking about it. Anyone that is attractive gets more leniencies in life. Like, straight up. If you're like more attractive, if you're more stereotypically attractive or attractive to what most people deem attractive, which is a lot of like Western appearances, like lots of white skin, blonde hair, green eyes, big tits, great ass, really funny, really smart, really sexy. Sorry, this is just me.
There's that trend on TikTok recently of trying to define ugly hot, and it was usually someone who is objectively hot. But Jewish.
but we're Jewish.
But curly hair and big nose.
Yeah.
Jewish.
That's fucked. But I was thinking about it today because I was thinking about what my life would be like if I looked different or like had a certain appearance. Because I think I'm very privileged. Like I think that I'm just a very stock standard, like decently attractive person. And I was like, man, if I was ugly, men would hate me even more. And that's crazy.
Yeah.
But you get away with a lot more in life if you're attractive. Either way, this guy directed Wolf Creek. And by the way, a girl that goes to my screenwriting course or does my screenwriting course, Cass, was the lead in Wolf Creek. So I should ask her about him and be like, what the fuck's up with this guy? Actually, I have her on the phone right now. Cass, you there?
Hello?
I'm officially
so
never sharing this podcast with the people in my course.
Sorry.
Cass, you sound strained.
So sorry.
What are you sorry for, Cass?
I'm so sorry. Oh, it's still Cass. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it.
What did he do to you, Cass? What did Greg McLean do to you?
These are real people. We don't know anything about these people.
Beep. But yeah, the guy from Wolf Creek directed this. But yeah, Kevin Bacon is a lead. He's very likable, I think.
Okay.
But in this film, he's terrible.
Question though, is he the lead? Because I feel like the first 70 minutes of this movie, it's the mum.
Yeah.
And the last 20 minutes, they really want to insist to me that it's Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, 100%. It's the
What's
mum.
that about?
It's Kevin Bacon being a slightly absent, annoyed father, and Bronnie trying really hard to keep her family together. And then at the end, it's about him connecting with his son.
Here's what I mean when I say I feel like the director, Greg McLean, is trying hard because, like, the first half of this movie feels like it's like bad Rosemary's Baby, in the sense that it's this like, or like that movie with Julianne Moore, Home or something. I can't remember the name of it. There's this indie movie with her in it, which is just about like her dealing with being in an unhappy marriage. It wasn't Still Alice. It was before Still Alice.
Alice.
Yeah.
The prequel.
She wasn't still yet. Well, that's the thing. That's why the sequel was She's Still Alice.
Yeah.
It's like centering around her dealing with like her increasingly violent child and her crumbling marriage and like her family life falling apart.
It sounds like a film I don't want to watch.
Sure.
Sounds harrowing.
But like it feels like a movie that could have been good. Like the exact sort of movie that I would then say to friends, yeah, I've watched it. Man, amazing piece of cinema. But then I know that I have no intention of watching it. It looks like it's just not a bad time to watch. But instead, it's just really awful. That's what I mean. Like, I feel like it's like, it goes down a path of like maybe okay, and then sharp turns away from it every time it's presented with a fork in the road.
Yeah. You're talking about The Darkness, not the Julianne Moore film?
Yeah,
right.
I'm talking about The Darkness.
Yeah, I agree. Bronnie is a tragic heroine. And like, she made me terrified of being in a marriage because that marriage was not happy, not healthy. They hated each other. They fought all the time. She's an alcoholic. He keeps cheating on her. It's just grim, but at the end they stick together because they're family and they don't really work through their issues. It's just that they go through a traumatic event and realize that they should stop taking each other for granted, but their behavior probably won't change and it'll just escalate again in a couple of years. However, happy ending, you know?
Yeah.
Happy ending.
Totally
also,
works out.
Let's just talk about the daughter because the daughter is just something else. The girl that played the daughter is an Australian actress.
I can tell because she's not very good.
Also, the woman that plays Bronnie, the mum, is also an Australian actress. And they've got an Australian director.
She looks familiar.
She does, but there was nothing I could recognize her from, but you probably know her in something. But yeah, the girl that plays this young girl is called Lucy Fry, and she is an Australian actress. She was in H2O, and she's just been doing really well overseas.
That's the one where you just add water, right?
Yeah. That's the one. She's also in the Wolf Creek TV show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The one that Stan did to try and convince people to subscribe.
Yeah, that one. She's now in a lot of like American TV. But either way, her performance was dismal. I agree. It's probably one of the worst performances I've ever seen. Here's an example. Like, pretend you're the mum and saying like, Stephanie, are you okay?
Stephanie, are you okay?
Get out! Get out! Get out!
Please, I'm just trying to help you.
Get out of my room!
Please, I just saw you vomiting into that bag.
Get out! That was her for 70% of the film.
Yeah. Hey, do you want some cereal for breakfast?
No! He's autistic, Mom!
Yeah.
He's a creep.
Oh my God. Man, no one hates that autistic little boy than the sister does. As someone with a sister who has Down syndrome and autism, let me tell you, the family wouldn't be having the fucking conversations they're having where they're going, my brother is fundamentally fucked up. That's not a fucking thing. What a horrid, horrid sister.
Yeah. Awful, awful, awful. But then they introduced the storyline about how she has bulimia. And she is eating food and then vomiting it into bags and storing it under her bed, which is really like quite scary to see. Like when they pull up the mattress and they see all of this stored vomit under her bed, that is actually quite an effective moment.
I don't know why she stores it.
Some people genuinely do that.
Okay.
When they don't like throw it away, they hide it in their room.
Okay.
And it's like this compulsive thing. Because you know how like a lot of eating disorders, and again, I'm not completely like, I don't know the most about eating disorders, so I don't want to say too much about them really because I don't want to put out any wrong information. But like a lot of eating disorders are just spurned on by this sense of needing to control something.
Yeah.
It's not even about necessarily like, it is obviously about body image, but a lot of the time it's just that young women want to feel like they can control an aspect of their lives. So they start limiting what they do eat and what's in their body. But then they also like to store it away, so there's no chance of it being found, especially if they're in like a home. And it's almost like they'll go back and look at it, and it's almost like a not a pride thing, but it's satisfying being like, this is all here.
At first I didn't get it, but I've also, without being too specific, had previously self-destructive tendencies where there is like evidence to reflect upon. So I get that sort of impulse.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's almost like a triumphant thing of like, look at all this stuff that I've done.
Okay, that makes sense.
I'm not explaining it very well, but that was quite harrowing. But it had no effect on the rest of the film because they take her to hospital and they're like, we want you to get better. And she's like, thanks, Dad. And that's kind of the end of the bulimia storyline.
It is.
Then she's still just kind of awful, but then we assume she gets over it because in the end they all look happy.
Yeah.
But that's it.
I feel like there's a slight implication that the 5 demon spirit things are like making the family worse in general. But this also seems like a longer term issue for her.
I think they're
So
all just kind of awful.
Yeah. On the note, though, of them like mishandling social issues, I really would be remiss if I didn't mention, like, didn't bring up the mother-daughter Native American duo that come to like purge their house at the end.
I don't even know if they're Native American.
Well, that's what confused
They're called
me.
Teresa and Gloria, and they're both speaking like, I think they're speaking Spanish to each other.
They are, which is why it confused me, because they specifically seek them out in reference to them finding out that this is a specific, like, these demons are part of a native mythology from I don't know whether the nation exists or not, but my instinct would say not. And like, they call on them for that reason, and they're not like there to be Catholic. In fact, there is a specific moment where let's say Ethan Hawke,
I'm not there to be Catholic, all right?
where Kevin Bacon is like, don't you need that there cross? And they're like, this is older than your God. And then they just speak, the most mystical language known to man, Spanish. Which they don't subtitle in the movie.
No, they don't.
They don't.
They're speaking Spanish to banish Native American demons in an English person's home.
The only reason, here's the thing that twigged me to the fact that they were native. American movies like to signal someone as native by putting them in a jean vest.
It's true.
White people, and I'm including myself in this, stop dressing how you think Indigenous peoples dress.
Yeah, 100%.
Stop doing that.
It's always a blue jean vest.
Every single on-screen depiction I've seen.
Also, listeners
unless
at
it's
home,
in a newer thing that is trying harder.
Listeners at home, we have a surprise guest with you tonight. We have a lovely little black and white cat called Casserole. She's chunky, she's funky, and she's large and in charge. And she's here to talk about the darkness. Cassie, what do you reckon?
Oh.
Huh? What did you say? Yeah. No, I mean that's true. I mean that's a weird take.
Yeah.
That you think that like their depiction of bulimia was acceptable. That you think that autistic children are just making it up for attention. That's, I didn't think, we'll talk about that afterwards. That's fine. You want money again? Michelle, she needs another grand. She's going to the Crown Casino.
Have a grand this time.
Fuck, you gotta find something. You gotta figure something out.
She's the worst gambler I've ever seen.
Look, don't talk about Casserole while she's in the room. All right? We love you, Casserole, unconditionally. No, agreed. The whole bit with Teresa and Gloria is bizarre.
It's so weird.
Yeah, they make that ritual, and then in the end, they open the portal into Mikey's room. Mikey goes into it. Peter follows him, and it's like this weird brown sludgy world.
I thought it was meant to be the cave that Mikey fell into in the first scene.
But it looks all windy and strange.
Well,
it looks all dusty and odd, like supernaturally.
It's got some really bad fucking iMovie filter over it. But I thought it was that specific room because like that's why
makes
he knew
sense.
where to put the stones back.
The whole gimmick again is that you can only like put the stones back if you're not afraid anymore. So Peter's like, I want to do this for Mikey, I'll do it, but he can't put the stones down, so he runs to the demons. The whole thing is that he can't put the stones down because he is afraid.
Yeah.
So he's like, take me, don't take Mikey, to the demons. But then Mikey runs down, he puts the stones down, being like, I'm not afraid anymore, Dad.
I'm not scared anymore.
And then the demons vanish.
Ox, wolf,
It was
coyote.
so silly.
And then, yeah, it cuts to each of them going in the worst creature designs of this whole thing so far.
Yeah.
Really awful, not scary at all. And then, yeah, they just go like, oh, and then they go, pff, and then just sort of like vanish. It's really lame. Totally not scary.
Yeah, not scary in the slightest. The whole thing was laughable. I really despise this film. And Bronny just made me sad. Mikey was an odd depiction of an autistic boy. Bronny made me sad. The girl had bulimia, but it didn't matter. And they didn't really say much about it. Kevin Bacon was a serial cheater trying to be better, but they also didn't explain fully what he had done. And also, I don't believe that he's fully changed either.
Like I'm a believer in like your protagonists can be flawed. You know, like I feel like sometimes we get wrapped up in a cultural conversation of like if your protagonist has a flaw, that is a moral indictment on the movie because you're promoting that thing. It's like, no, you can still have flawed characters.
Yeah, because like the result of the film is what really counts, the change.
Yeah, it's the way that these storylines in particular like resolve and the way that they're having these cultural conversations are very fucking skewed and awful.
100%. So again, Mikey starts a fire in the house.
Yeah.
He tries to kill a cat and Bonnie's like, protect him. Don't hurt him. How dare you?
Yeah, she is doing the autism speaks thing of like, that's just how they are.
That's just Mikey.
Tragically, we need to find a cure.
Yeah.
Awful.
And Peter very rightly says, now I'm worried. Now we need to do something. And she's like, don't. And you're like, what the fuck?
Both of them are being disgusting.
Yeah, 100%. Also, do you know that Kevin Bacon is a really nice dude? As opposed to Ethan Hawke, who we know is an absolute psychopath.
Yeah, of course.
Kevin Bacon, great guy. I want you to do a little graphic now of Kevin Bacon in like an angel suit and then Ethan Hawke in a devil suit.
Ah,
yeah.
you could be my angel.
And then I want you to
devil.
And then I want you to make a video game where you can either fight as Kevin Bacon or as Ethan Hawke, and one is an angel and one is a devil with different powers.
Ready? Fight! Fight! Ha! 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 That's Kevin Bacon, but then Ethan Hawke goes, I killed JFK.
I was the gunman on the grassy knoll. Yeah. Or if you're playing as as Ethan Hawke, you get to drive around in a race car, and if you're Kevin Bacon, you've got 5 demon buddies behind you. It's cool.
So you're saying that this is a fighting game with Ethan Hawke and Kevin Bacon, and the movie references we went with was Getaway in the Darkness?
Correct.
Oh.
And not just... Okay, so... Oh, no, actually, I take it back. Ethan Hawke isn't in a car, but he's got Selena Gomez. So you can either choose Selena Gomez as your companion or 5 demon boys. What's it going to be? I choose
a criminal.
Selena Gomez with a gun.
Yeah.
Get out of the car. Get out. You're crazy.
You're a crazy criminal, evil and awful.
I'd play that game.
Yeah.
It's just all of them beating the shit out of each other. So get on it. I would love that. My birthday's coming up. So...
I have to. All right, I gotta finish that Unity course then. I'm so sorry.
Can you just like work harder?
I'm really behind on my other work.
If I don't get my game, you don't love me.
Oh my god.
You don't love me.
Yeah, maybe.
But also, what I was saying, Kevin Bacon, really nice guy.
Yeah.
Because he is known for his very long-lasting relationship with Kira Cedric. Kira Cedric. She was the lead in Hearts and Souls. She's Wunsch in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh.
Yeah. 80s actress. They met in like 1988. They've been together ever since.
She's actually an actress right now.
Oh, no, she's an actress in her 80s. Sorry. I think you misunderstood.
Wow.
That's a bit cringe, but I'll let it slide.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like he's like notably like people are like, how have you had a successful relationship all these years? Being like a Hollywood heartthrob, being in a relationship with another actress for like 30 years. And he's just like, I just really love her. Like it's really easy. It's really, really wholesome. Like looking into Kevin Bacon's personal life is really, really nice. The reason I had to look into Kevin Bacon's personal life is because I really struggled with today's trivia section.
Oh no.
Are you ready for some?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do some trivia.
IMDb trivia.
So I scoured the IMDb trivia page, and I'm just going to be honest with you, Michelle. There was nothing interesting to repeat on this show. It had trivia, but I didn't note down any of it.
Better than Butterfly Effect 2.
What was Butterfly Effect 2? Was it 0?
1.
What was do you remember what it was?
The director was the brother of the DP from Butterfly Effect 1.
Oof.
That was it.
Oof. None of the trivia that I found was interesting. Therefore, that ends my trivia section of The Darkness. IMDb trivia! Do you want some reviews?
I would love some reviews.
Reviews! On Rotten Tomatoes, the film has a rating of 3%. The site's consensus reads, The Darkness clumsily relies on an assortment of genre tropes, leaving only the decidedly non-frightening ghosts of superior horror films in its wake. Here's a review left by Jordan Hoffman of The Guardian. When you find yourself yearning for the thorough world building of the Insidious franchise, you know you're in trouble.
Wow.
Here's a review left by Joey Coe from Wicked Horror. If you're wondering what's lurking in the darkness, it isn't much of anything at all. Here is a 1 out of 10 review. So something notable about this is that there are no 10 out of 10 reviews for The Darkness on IMDb.
What?
And there's only 2 9 out of 10 reviews on IMDb.
How is this high?
I know.
There's not a single
10 out of 10
written
Not a single
review.
one.
I assume
Written
there
review.
must be at least people clicked 10 out of 10 and didn't like
Maybe,
it.
but there was no written reviews for 10 out of 10.
Wow.
And again, 2 9 out of 10 reviews, and they weren't worth repeating. So I have a 1 out of 10 review for you here.
Sure.
The subject line is garbage. It seems like the writers just took 2 things they couldn't understand and didn't want to research, autism and Native American culture, and stuck them together.
Hey.
This movie didn't understand either of them. It's offensive and terribly written. It's also super slow, boring, and predictable. I've never rated a movie this low. But here is an 8 out of 10 review called Scary and Eerie, and it was left by M. Winship 12 in 2020. So terrifying and scary. I went to get a little chocolate and I boiled water from the dorm fridge upstairs in the dark and turned around, and Maddie was, black dog, staring right between my legs when I bent over. Wow! I screamed like a little girl and practically had a heart attack on the spot. Oh my, you've really got to see this movie in the dark and bend your science outlook a bit about the Hopi Indians in the Grand Canyon. I won't reveal anything other than the autistic boy gets some very strange stones. On Netflix, Murph.
What the
My personal favorite is that they went to get a little chocolate and a boiled water.
What the? What?
And Maddie was black dog. There's actually so many delights in this little review. Thank you so much, M. Winship, for this insight.
I feel like
I'm glad she didn't reveal anything other than the autistic boy gets some very strange stones.
Oh, it's such a strange description. Oh my god.
Those are all the reviews I've got. But
Wow,
Michelle, this was a harrowing, boring, stupid film. I'm glad it's over. What would you rate it out of 10?
Well, look, we've already dived into its social crimes quite a bit. I did talk about how it clearly at the beginning was trying hard, right? And I stand by that. But I also think that one of the biggest problems with the second half isn't just that it veers into real offensive territory. It's the filmmaking itself falls apart, right? It's just not very engaging. It's not very well made. The structure is non-existent.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a very good movie either. I'm going to give it a 2. It's still movie enough that it fits my criteria of it's like a movie.
Yep.
But it's a 2.
Yeah. Good rating. I'm going with my heart this week. So I'm giving it like a 1.3.
Wow.
I hated it.
Yeah, that's
It
fair.
was so boring. It was so drab. I'm sick of watching white families making poor decisions and hating each
Why
other.
is there always wealthy suburban white families getting into trouble with these demons?
It must be so hard living in this McMansion out in the suburbs with your autistic child and bulimic daughter. Like, it must be so difficult for you, a very wealthy white family. I'm glad we're watching your problems.
They only make $400K a year.
Oh my
Biden's trying to
God.
take away their fucking second holiday home. Oh, boo fucking who.
It's disgusting. Yeah, it's a 1 out of 3 for me. 1.3 out of 10 for me. Like, I fucking hated it.
Yeah.
And I hated it. And I really hate these 2010s horrors. They're really
too.
slow. They're really uninteresting. it makes me despise American culture so severely. It makes me hate white people even more. And they're so oppressed. They're the minorities.
We've really had it rough. We've had people point out all the crimes we've committed. How do you think that feels?
Well, that was the darkness. Don't forget to follow us on social media if you can. You can find us on Twitter under Rate Descend Pod, or you can email us at ratingdescending@gmail.com.
You can also find us personally. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at michelle.stclair.
And I'm on Instagram under Abigail J. Ward.
Also, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts if you can, because it really kind of boosts the algorithm.
Yeah, so if you care about us, let us know. Let us know. Don't let me know anymore. Let us know. I saw Frozen once. I didn't need to see it again.
It's Here
I am.
It's Let It Go, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. Yeah, I knew that. Well, what are we watching next week, Michelle?
Next week, we are watching...
Frozen.
We are watching the crime movie Setup.
Oh, okay. What's getting set up?
It's got Bruce Willis and Curtis Jackson.
I'm actually excited. Yes.
Hey, come set us up. Have a few laughs.
Come to California. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Oh, can't always have a Christmas dinner.
You're one good pal.
What is this, Hans Gruber?
Hey, Hans. Watch out. I've watched Die Hard a million times. I can't recall one line of dialogue.
Mother, yippee-ki-yay.
Yippee-ki-yay.
I'm stuck in Nakatomi Tower. He's in other movies.
Damn. I'm sure he says that at some point.
Totally nailed.
Glass in my feet.
Guys, we stuck the landing.
Son of a bitch.
It's the perfect podcast ending.
Woo! Catch you around, California.